Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. I wanted to talk in this video a little bit because I want to talk about heroic level rewards and, just in general the difficulty of content in World of Warcraft and whether the rewards that are being given out are being given out a bit too easily. And I say this, as someone who is a holistically casual player. I work a full-time job. I come home, I play WoW maybe 3 times a week for quite a bit, for a couple hours. I stay up really late after I put my son to bed. But, the thing is, I am not someone who's able to easily do, I would say, heroic content. To organize a group, to clear heroic content, it takes me quite a while. I have to try really hard to organize the group. Generally, every expansion I manage to get ahead of the curve for at least 2 or 3 out of the raids. And as someone who I would say represents a casual player that does relatively hardcore content, I think the rate at which they give out the heroic gear is pretty regular. Like, to be honest, I think the rate at which they give out the heroic gear is a bit too easy. And I say this obviously during the course of the Turbulent Timeways event. This is a, how can I say, final third of the season or quarter of the season kind of event. But essentially by just completing 5 heroic level dungeons, normal heroic level dungeons, and remember, heroic level dungeons are not hard, you get a free chest that will give you a heroic piece of gear. Now I know regularly you will get a normal piece of gear from the chest. It's just upgraded during the Turbulent Timeways as it's near the end of the season. But the rate at which that heroic gear can be accrued, along with the easy time walking raid events that have already happened, and now you will also be able to do again. A player, by joining the Turbulent Timeways during the course of its 7-week event, can get 10 chests in total that contain potential heroic items, and these can contain set pieces, weapons, armor. Obviously there is some RNG involved, but generally speaking the consensus is that you should be able to gear up quite nicely with that. On top of that, the fact that they give you out a free high level ring means that, generally speaking, getting a heroically geared character is not that difficult. And again, not to sound like someone who wants to gate off rewards in that, but for me, heroic raiding represents the first real step in World of Warcraft where you have to perform content with other players. Even normal raiding, to a certain extent, can be pugged relatively easily. If you're someone with a high item level and you manage to read the basic guides that are online or even in-game, you should be able to clear a normal raid with a pug. I know I've done it quite a few times. Heroic represents the first area for me where players have to step up and try to learn the game to a what I would say an impressive level. I think if you do heroic raiding, you're a good World of Warcraft player. Hardcore players will disagree with me, but I think if you're someone who works a job or even plays a game full time, but you do the game at a heroic level, I think you're a decent World of Warcraft player. I don't think that's up for debate. So obviously, for me, the fact that they're giving out that level of gear quite easily does cheapen the experience, and it also removes a lot of players' interest in doing heroic. Your only incentive to do heroic now is for the ahead of the curve achievement, which also doesn't mean anything because the bots can you see all those bots selling the ahead of the curve achievement for like 60k gold, and they'll start dropping their prices near the end of the season. Someone can buy a run for like 30k if someone's desperate enough. So it's almost like heroic gear and heroic raids don't really serve that much of a purpose. And the problem is that for me is the first level of World of Warcraft where I find that my interactions with players is required. So by having these end of season events where this heroic gear and, you know, like the frequency of heroic gear is so high, I think it removes just a little bit of the need to do heroic raiding, and then it kind of makes it a cheapened experience, because you can push and push and push for ahead of the curve, and then you can have someone that does Turbulent Time Waves event, gets their character to a heroic level, goes out, buys a run for 20k gold, and they have the exact same thing as you. And even then, even if they don't buy the run, they basically can just have a heroic geared character and have a much easier time than you did, because they're coming in at a much higher gear level. I just think, you know, although it's the end of the season, it's not where I'd like it to be. I think normal level gear, normal raid level gear is more than fine for things like Turbulent Time Waves. I don't see the reason why Turbulent Time Waves, just because it's a special end of season event, has to give heroic level gear. It can give 2 pieces or normal if it wants to, but I think it should refrain from giving out heroic pieces of gear, as for me it cheapens the World of Warcraft endgame experience. But of course, that's just me. You know, I'm one person, but my suggestion would be that they change it, because I would like personally the heroic level to still stay something players are interested in. And I think if you do things like this, you start to really push players to only being incredibly hardcore, and I just think that's not the way I would like World of Warcraft to go. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on the matter. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it and what you think. I do think it's interesting kind of curve deliberation for World of Warcraft, and I think everyone's opinions will be different. Some people will like the gear, of course, and I'm not someone who's going to critique you on that. I do like having the easy heroic gear. Like when I get it, I mean, you can see I'm grinding it literally as I'm doing this video, but I just think it shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't feel like I can run 5 very cheap, easy heroics that take me 5 minutes and walk out with a piece of gear that generally would require good cohesion and work by the player base. But yeah, that's it from me. See you guys in the next one. Love to hear your thoughts. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you're enjoying the end of the season. I know I've been enjoying the War Within. This is just my thoughts since last season. So yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.